get fresh corn, and it's a local treasure, and I'm excited to cook some up and eat some.
And we got a lot of other people here today too.
All right, so they're harvesting some corn. That was lucky we had a chance to see it. So some of the corn today that we got, I just went ahead and I shucked it, and I'm going to freeze this corn, and then this corn over here we're going to barbecue. So I got about 26 ears that I'm going to freeze for future dinners. All right, so let's get the corn ready for the barbecue. All right, so we're just going to pull back the husk a little bit, and we're going to remove this silk out of here, but without removing the husk. And we are lucky that a worm didn't get this one. So first thing we're going to do is just pull this back just a little bit. I'm going to take some of this, we're not going to remove the husk, but we're going to take some of this silk out. Just pull it back just a tad. And this corn is organic corn, so you are going to find, with organic corn, you might find some areas where a worm might have been chewing on it, and that just tells you that this corn is extra sweet, which is what we want. So we're just going to lop off this end. And just make sure your hands are in the clear, and just lop off the end. And then we're just going to close this back up, and it's ready for the barbecue.
So we use charcoal that's made from natural wood. So this is mesquite wood here, naturally sourced here locally. And we use an electric starter to go ahead and start it. So we plug the electric starter into the wall and wait about 5 minutes, and we'll be having a flame there pretty soon. I don't like the taste of the lighter fluids in my food, so we go ahead and start it this way. You can use other things like a little bit of paper and some twigs and go about that way too, but that takes a lot longer. This here is pretty simple and easy.
All right, so this is just like a couple minutes later, and we're getting the flame all ready to go. So we're not ready to go ahead and move those chunks of wood out there along the edges yet, but we're going to be close here pretty soon.
Okay, so this has been unplugged for the last 7 minutes. This is what it looks like. You want to get it to where there's like little bits of charcoal where it's all red along the edges of the wood, and you just start scattering the wood around inside your barbecue. And like I said, I just use fresh wood since I can locally source it, and it's really good. So now we got a nice cover of wood all the way across the entire barbecue. And then I made this little thing right here. I welded it up to go ahead and pick things up. So we pick up the grill and just set it down across the top of here. Normally, if I was putting meat on there or something, I'd go ahead and I'd brush that down. But I don't need to worry about that. We just start taking these corns and just sticking them on there like that. And if they have a little flare up here and there, that's fine too. Anyways, unlike corn from the store, if these were from the store, I'd have to go ahead and put them in water and get these husks rehydrated. But these husks are still very wet from being just recently picked this morning. So we're good to go that way. So we can just set them on there like that, and then we'll just lower the lid down a little bit, and that'll trap that heat in there and start making those things bake. A little cloud of smoke. And we're going to do a little checking on this thing that's been going for about 5 minutes now. And we're going to go ahead and start turning these over. As you can see, they're cooking just fine. And that's what you're looking for. If there's little burned ends like that, that's what I started smelling, was the smell of that corn husk going ahead and burning on these here. And so I'm going to switch this other side here.
Oops.
Do it.
Excuse the back
I'm
of
not
his
standing
shirt.
in the smoke as much. If you have a spot where the kernels are out a little bit and stuff, it's not that big of a deal. So if one of the kernels gets kind of barbecued like that, it has a good flavor still. That one doesn't want to stay where it's at. Okay, we're gonna move this one over. Put this one over here. Oops. Yeah, I'm just gonna pick this one up. Whoop. There we go. We don't need that going on. There we go. Take care of that problem. That's one nice thing about a barbecue that has a lid on it like this. Because if you were out there doing it on a regular, like open grill, you would definitely have an issue right about now with those corn husks starting to catch on fire. But so we'll let that go for about another 5, maybe 7 minutes, and we'll go ahead and pull them.
Okay, so Derrick is turning the corn here, right? We're moving it around.
Check here just to make sure. Looks like everything's done. Okay, so
Here, I'll do it.
as you can see right here, we've got that's what browned on the first go around, and here's our second.
Ooh, hot.
Hot. It's worse than a hot potato. And then here's what we got going on the second one. So looks like we've got corn that's all the way cooked and ready to go be put on the table. So I'm going to start pulling these. Hopefully I don't drop one when I'm doing that. As you can see, that if I had had a bunch of corn that I got from the store, I'd need to go ahead and have a little bit more moisture in the husk. That's why we would have soaked them. But no, this corn's really good. We get it every year. We're lucky to have the Hauser Hauser Farms nearby, and they grow such great corn. And this year they're doing 100% organic, where they're not spraying the fields with chemicals whatsoever. Hadn't been spraying actually. And we got a few worms this year compared to normally. We don't usually have any. But the corn is extremely good always there. They do a really good job of growing the corn for eating. They charge a fair price. And I'll post a phone number if you're local in Arizona and want to come out and pick up some corn. They have a phone number I'll put on one of the pages on the video that you can go ahead and call and find, and they have an answer machine that they go ahead and they tell you whether they're going to have corn the next day or not, because they'll pick for a day or two. If we have a storm come in, they may have to be out of the fields. They can't pick for a day or two till it dries out a bit, and they go back and forth that way. So you'll find out the night before or early that morning whether they have corn available or not. So, but like I said, I'll go ahead and post that. But corn on the barbecue, real simple. You saw it. It's easy. So we're going to go and eat some dinner and enjoy.
Okay, we'll do a taste test in just a little bit, but I do want to mention this was their first harvest. So there's some corn that's super mature and some that's a little bit not mature, but that's okay. It's going to be sweet and delicious. All right, time for the taste test. So I'm just going to pull this back. And some people might just go ahead and eat it like this, but I'm going to take the husk off. And I'm going to take the silk off here. And I'm going to purposely try this with no butter, so I can let you know how it tastes with just the corn with the barbecue flavor. Okay. That is sweet. Sweet and smoky flavor. You don't really need butter at all. And it's juicy. Absolutely delicious. I will tell you that it really makes a difference when you have organically grown corn and it is extra sweet. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll probably have more than one corn for sure. For those of you who subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. If you don't, I hope that you do. Thanks for watching.